estamos un poquito calentitos, no estamos acostumbrados al frío, así que es como vivir en Miami o vivir en Tulum, es el mismo clima, entonces cuando te acostumbras a altas temperaturas y te viene un poquitito de frío, que para algunos de ustedes no es frío, ya es como que, no, nos estamos congelando. Somos unos exagerados, pero bueno, calentitos estamos mejor. Así que vamos a empezar el programa de hoy. Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre lo que aquí le dicen el Xibalbal, o lo que se le dice, pues, hay mucha gente que no cree en la muerte, ¿no? Que solamente en la trascendencia. ¿Por qué no? So we're going to talk a little bit about death today, or transcending, as I like to call it. For whatever reason, it was a topic of conversation this morning here. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, well, you know, if we all really stopped to think about our future, we all have something for certain that we don't need the crystal ball to know, and that is that we're all going to die. So it just kind of made me wonder, like, okay, since, you know, we're always worried about what's going to happen, but all of us have that one thing in common, right? We're born and we die, or transcend, right? So why are we so afraid of death? Why is it such a big deal? Why is it such a taboo? Why is it not spoken about enough? And why is it that we make, such a big deal out of it when in reality we're not really going anywhere? It's just our physical, it's like a cocoon, right? Like we're like this little larva, and all of a sudden the butterfly comes out and it spreads its wings and it lives in another dimension. But I think it's so taboo because probably also having to do with so many things that have been made as jobs and as what's the word I'm looking for? Like when things become consumer products, you know? So if we didn't see death as what it is, maybe we wouldn't spend that much money in caskets. We wouldn't spend that much money on crazy funerals. We wouldn't spend that much money on throwing the ashes in the middle of the ocean in expensive yachts, right? Because we wouldn't see it as the end, we would see it at the beginning. So what do you think about death? Do you believe in reincarnation at all? Is it something that do you think it's possible? I think that and there's a lot of atheists that watch us, so I know this for a fact. I think some of you that don't really believe that there's anything after this life, it just makes me think of how sad that is, because then you know that eventually the blinds are going to shut off, right? And all you're going to see is just pitch black, nothing else, and that's it. You cease to exist. That's so sad to think that way. But the reason why this came to my mind, it's like, why do we make so much of a big deal about everything that happens in our life when we all know our future, and our future is inevitable and we're all going the same way, right? So when you're really stressing out about something, and you really just think this stupid thought, because it's a stupid thought, let's be honest, of, well, I'm going to die no matter what, you know? It really makes you wonder if you're paying attention or putting priority of your time into things that really matter or make a difference. We spend so much time just doing and making sure that we have more and we are more. And then life kind of passes you by, and maybe all you've done for the past years or all your life is work, right? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm not here to just do that. So what happened to living? What happened to expressing yourself? What happened to discovering the beauties of this planet, of this world? And if you already know that you're inevitably going to die, then why not make it more of a priority to live life to the fullest, you know, to live life in your terms, in your with your ideas, and doing what makes you happy. So yeah. A lot of us are, you know, a lot of you might always be thinking like, oh, I wonder if I'm, you know, if this is going to happen, or if I'm going to be able to reach this goal, and it's like you stress out so much over specific things, and it's like, wait, just let the ride kind of and the tide kind of take you, because if not, you're kind of speeding your time towards that end line, right? That finish line of death, which is basically, in case you didn't know, it's a transcending. So we should really be celebrating death. I think that it would also make it so much easier for those that pass away if we're left behind, because by being supportive of the situation, not that you want anybody to die, die because you're going to miss them physically, of course, but spiritually, when you really understand what it means and you know that they're not gone, it's normal to have that selfishness of wanting to have them near you even longer. But wouldn't we have maybe like another perspective of death overall if we saw it like a graduation instead of a finish line? So it's like, okay, now you finished college and you're going somewhere so much more exciting. Maybe our life would be a little bit more meaningful. Maybe we would be working for something better, something bigger. We would have a purpose. Maybe for people that don't have a purpose whatsoever at all, it would give you a little bit of purpose knowing that, well, whatever it is that you are doing, you're doing it to aid yourself to be higher, to vibrate more, and to be wiser, and have more energy in your soul, okay? So the more energy you have, the wiser you are, the brighter you shine, well, the better of an education you're going to get, because you're going to get into a way better college. In this case, it would be you're probably going to go to another dimension that is not this one, and continue in a much better place than the one that we are now. So what do you think? Do you think that that will give you a little bit more of a purpose to actually motivating yourself to do better with your own choices, everything that you decide every day, and make sure you generate positivity? I don't know, just one of those crazy thoughts I had. Muy bien, amigos. We're live, by the way. Let me go ahead and see if I can open the chat. Welcome to our members as well. James, if you could write the topic, by the way, in the chat, I would appreciate it, because I did not copy it. Bueno, amigos, hablamos un poquito sobre la muerte. ¿Qué palabra fea, ¿no? Aquí sería como que el Shivalvar, o sea, lo que es lo que existe después de nuestra vida física. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Jenny? Bienvenidos. Saludos, ¿cómo estamos? Gracias. We, or some of us, are scared by death because we do not know in which way or form we will go. If we all died of old age, then it would not be so bad, but horrific deaths are not the ones we can prepare for. Yo hablando de la muerte, y ahí sale el primer comentario. Dice, bueno, algunos de nosotros tenemos miedo a la muerte simplemente porque no sabemos cómo vamos a morir, o sea, cuándo nos va a tocar. Dice, entonces le tenemos miedo a lo desconocido. Dice, si todos muriéramos simplemente de ser viejos, entonces sería diferente, no estaría tan mal. Pero morir una muerte horrible, pues nadie se puede preparar para algo así. Lo único que no puedes ir para atrás es la muerte, ¿no? Por lo tanto, me parece conmovedor pensar de que hay tantas personas en el mundo que son ateas y no creen en absoluta, o sea, literalmente creen de que en el momento que se cierran los ojos y fallecen, no existe nada más en el universo y ellos paran de existir. Qué triste pensamiento. O sea, el nada más, a ver, déjeme abrir el chat. El nada más tener eso en la mente, ¿no? De que de repente cierras los ojos y ya hasta ahí llegaste, no queda ni un rastro tuyo y punto. ¿Serían diferentes las cosas si realmente viéramos la muerte de otra forma? O sea, yo la veo de una forma quizás muy diferente que ustedes. Yo personalmente sí sé que hay reencarnaciones, sí sé dónde uno va después de fallecer, y esto todos lo pueden ver, o sea, solamente son ciertas meditaciones, ciertos ejercicios que llegas a poder desprenderte del cuerpo y poder llegar a ver pues dónde es que vas, ¿no? Cómo se siente más que nada. Entonces, una vez que practicas tantas veces, ya estás listo para partir cuando te venga el tiempo. Sí, ya conozco ese sentimiento de vértigo. Pero fíjense que si nos ponemos a pensar así como tantas cosas que han creado para crear trabajos, ¿no? Como por ejemplo uno de ellos que me pareció súper chistoso, alguien puso en el Instagram, la razón por la cual los pechos de las mujeres son censurados. ¿Saben por qué? Es completamente monetario. ¿Para qué? Para que exista detrás, para que exista toda una campaña de comprar brasieres, comprar terapias, la estética, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, hay tantas cosas que han inventado que no tienen sentido y en realidad están hechas para eso, que yo creo que el tema de la muerte y llorar y todo eso también tiene que ver, porque si no, no hubieran funerarias, no gastaría la gente tanto dinero en cajas de cartón, no de cartón, de madera, no gastarían tanto dinero en yates yendo a tirar las cenizas por ahí. Yo creo que solitos enterraríamos los cuerpos en el patio Y que nazca un árbol, ¿no? O sea, así es como, si de ahí venimos, o sea, venimos de la nada, entonces volver a nutrir. Hay empresas que hacen eso en Estados Unidos, pero a lo fino, ¿no? O sea, ponen tu cuerpo en un ataúd biodegradable, no de una madera que se disuelve muy rápido, y una vez que te haces compost, se lo dan a la familia en forma de tierra, ¿no? Por supuesto, con un arbolito. Entonces, a mí me gustaría algo así. Bueno, en fin, pero algo que tenemos muy certero todos es que todos tenemos eso en común. ¿Para dónde vamos? Todos sabemos para dónde vamos y es que todos vamos a morir eventualmente algún día. Aunque hay personas que están luchando por ser eternos, hay muchos millonarios que están intentando desafiar la muerte. Yo creo de que el ver la muerte como la muerte ya de por sí no está bien. Creo de que tendría que ser una celebración de continuar a un grado más elevado, así como decir, bueno, saliste del kinder y te fuiste al colegio, a la secundaria. Ahora salimos de la secundaria y vamos hacia la universidad, ¿no? Que en realidad lo que significa es que cuanto más elevado llegues a ese punto de ascensión, más probabilidad hay que no regreses a este planeta, o sea, más probabilidad hay que vayas a otra dimensión, o quizás sí en este planeta, pero en otra dimensión. Entonces, yo creo que nos daría algún tipo de propósito diferente en el punto de decir, de trabajar en nosotros mismos, porque te la pasas trabajando para ganar dinero, ¿ok? Pero el dinero no te lo llevas, entonces el dinero sí es algo que eventualmente pues muere contigo, pero lo que es el enriquecimiento del alma, las experiencias y el ver los momentos de estrés en la vida de uno, con ese punto de vista creo que cambiaría mucho tus actitudes hacia cómo pasas tu día, porque en el momento de decir, bueno, te estás matando trabajando para sacar algo, pues dices, bueno, pues ¿cuál es la pura? ¿Por qué te apuras tanto si igual tu fin es el mismo que el de todas las demás personas? Entonces, más bien verlo de esa forma creo que haría que valoremos mucho más el tiempo que tenemos, lo invirtamos en situaciones positivas en vez de estresarnos y decir, no, o sea, enojarnos o estresarnos o ponernos tristes o con depresión o lo que sea, pues decir, pues ya sé cuál es el futuro es la muerte, no sabemos cuándo, pero va a llegar. Entonces mejor no perdamos tiempo y valoremos ese tiempo generando pues energía positiva, generando algo bueno para nosotros, para las personas que nos rodean y para el mundo, por supuesto, porque siempre como decimos que si tú quieres hacer algo para mejorar el mundo, lo primero que tienes que hacer es empezar por ti mismo y es lo que más le cuesta a la gente, ¿no? So I think for the most part, people are always also wondering how they can leave a little seed behind and help the world. And of course, I'm always going to answer the same way, which is basically fix yourself, fix the world. So it's a domino effect. Start with you, the next generation will be better, the next generation will be better, but always point the finger towards you. Jenny, yo deseo morir contigo. Es mi gran sueño, rubia preciosa, amor de mi vida. ¿Tú deseas morir conmigo? Ok. ¿Y qué pasa si no muero nunca? Welcome, UK. Right. The purpose is to let our light shine. Jenny, if you could go back in time, is there anything you'd change about your life? Yeah, I mean, not today, but in my lifeline in general, yeah. I don't know, because, even the bad things that have happened, I think that if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to write this little baby here and help people that are in those situations. So I think I would leave everything just as is. And I always think that things happen for a reason. The important thing is that you know how to get out of them and push forward and use it to teach others, for example. I think that's important. But there's always things that we wish we hadn't have gone through, of course. You look red. As always, I'm sure. Oh, ¿cómo estamos? Jenny, si tú podrías ir atrás en el tiempo, ¿cambiarías algo de tu vida? Hoy por hoy no. Si me preguntan así como que en la línea de vida es probable que sí, o sea, hay muchas cosas que me gustarían que hubieran sido diferentes. Sin embargo, también cuando lo pienso digo, pues no hubiera podido escribir este libro si no hubiera pasado por las situaciones que pasé y aprendido todo lo que aprendí. Entonces creo de que ya hay un porcentaje de personas que venimos con algo para experimentar, para poder enseñar a los demás. Entonces, no me molesta ser una de esas personas. Y sí, por eso siempre digo, pues, si necesitan esa guía, ahí tienen el libro con todo lo que funcionó para mí. Dice, todo lo que te ha pasado, pues te ha llegado, te ha hecho llegar al punto donde estás ahora. Sí, es verdad, tal cual como está. Yo no creo en las coincidencias. Creo de que lo importante es que sea lo que sea que te haya pasado, salgas adelante, ¿no? O sea, el problemático es si realmente te venció y te ganó y terminaste en la ruina y mal y nunca te levantaste. Pero realmente les puedo decir personalmente de que el ir de negro a blanco, ¿no? O sea, el ir de negativo a positivo hace que valores lo positivo mucho más, ¿no? Eso sí, tenlo por seguro. So, I also think that going from like dark to light kind of thing, o de la luz a la oscuridad, de la oscuridad a la luz, podríamos decir. I think that when you experience darkness, I guess the word I'm looking for is kind of like you flavor, you get the taste of the sweet taste of positiveness so much more, and you really flavor it, you really, taste it, you take your time, you enjoy it, you live, you give thanks for every breath. I think it's difficult for anybody that hasn't been through difficult situations to really appreciate life as much as those that have been through really difficult situations and have gotten out of them. Because in a way, it does make you a warrior. It makes you strong. It makes you the person with the wisdom that you have today, right? With the teachings that you had to learn. So I also believe that we come here with purposes already. So if you find yours, then amazing. If you haven't found it yet, eventually it'll come to you. But when you really start seeing life as kind of like this task of allowing yourself to flow and be guided by things around you and not having complete and total control over everything that you do, things start changing and shifting because we're so used to making decisions based on what we've been taught that we forget that there's something higher from us that can really lead us to the right solutions and situations just if we stop controlling every single bit of our life. So take a pause. You don't have to be right in everything. You don't have to make a schedule for everything. Yes, it's good to have some discipline, but also when are you going to really let yourself be guided by the universe? And that is actually a chapter in my book. Now that I think about it. Muy bien. ¿Cuándo van a permitir que los guíe el universo, no? O sea, ¿cómo sabemos qué es lo que realmente podemos... ¿Qué es lo que realmente tenemos que experimentar en esta vida para poder crecer, para poder ser mejores? Y una de las únicas formas de realmente experimentar eso es permitirte no tener el control todo el tiempo, ¿ok? ¿Qué significa esto? Que no siempre tienes que tener un itinerario de entrada y salida. Sí es bueno tener disciplina, pero no al punto donde te vuelve loco o loca. Permitirte tener ese tiempo de decir, no voy a planear absolutamente nada, solamente sé que voy a ir a tal lugar, voy a ir a la playa hoy, voy a ir al parque y el resto del día, pues que el universo me lleve donde tenga que ir, que me haga conocer a la persona que tengo que conocer. Creo que muchos de ustedes no han hecho esto en quizás mucho tiempo. Entonces, no tener un plan. Tómense algunos días para no tener plan y no estar controlando todo lo que hacen y simplemente, obviamente, no dentro de su casa, porque entonces no se están exponiendo a oportunidades, ¿no? No se están exponiendo a experiencias, que es lo que queremos que sucedan. Entonces, salir, ir a un lugar extraño, ir a un lugar nuevo y simplemente pues dejar que tu día observa a tu alrededor, observa a las personas que te saludan, observa a las personas que llaman tu atención y a ver a dónde te lleva. Seguro será la muerte, así que no se preocupen. No, todos vamos a morir. Qué positiva, Jenny, hoy vine con un buen mensaje. Chicos, no se hagan mucho problema que todos vamos a morir. I'm like, today it's a very positive message. It's basically just me telling you, don't stress out too much. We're all going to die anyway. All right, guys. Ready for 2 poems, of course. Let's see. Martin, I don't have a autobiography, but if you probably have Kindle, like I said, it's included in Kindle, so it'll be 0 for you. Trying to control things just might change the blessing that was coming. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that because we make decisions solely on what we're told and it's like we're programmed to do so, we forget that there's other opportunities out there that maybe you're not even paying attention to and you're not even considering as an option. And one day you just go out. I want you to just do that. Take one day of your week, right? I keep giving you homework on Fridays, and just know that you are going to one location, right? After that, let yourself flow throughout the day. I don't mean like stay at home. I mean like actually going out to a public place where you can be exposed to opportunities and people, right? So it's like, today I'm going to go to the zoo. And it's like, well, oh, okay. That's it. Yeah, I'm just going to go to the zoo and then see how you feel afterwards. I don't like the zoos, by the way, but it was just example. You're going to go to the park. You're going to go to the beach. You know, you go to the mall. I mean, today you're going to go somewhere, preferably places that are, with nature, and see who you bump into, see what you bump into. Maybe you're driving and it turns out there's, you look around and there's a store and they sell something that you've been needing for a long time. Or maybe, whatever it is, but the thing is that you're not going to be able to be exposed to these opportunities if you're always in control. So give yourself that little bit of time to just don't think, just act. Efectivamente, no permitimos que el universo nos ponga enfrente, ¿no?, las oportunidades que realmente nos merecemos y tenemos que experimentar si estamos siempre en control. Entonces, permitir que esas oportunidades sucedan y no estar controlando basado en lo que nos han enseñado, porque en realidad nosotros estamos siempre tomando decisiones basado en lo que pensamos que está bien, y entonces quizás estás muy enfocado en solamente una situación cuando hay muchas otras situaciones que ni siquiera se han cruzado por tu mente, pero se te van a presentar si son para ti en el momento que salgas de una zona de confort. Entonces puedes que vayas al shopping, puedes a la playa, al parque, a donde sea, y por ahí te cruzas justo una tienda que te dan la solución a un servicio que necesitabas, o te topas con alguien que resulta de que conoce una persona y tú necesitas algo y esa persona lo tiene. Y dices, pero ¿cómo puede ser? No, nada es coincidencia, se los prometo. Está ahí para ti, solamente tienes que, pues, verlo, ¿no? Y si no te permites salir de esa caja de confort, esa caja cuadrada de que tienes que pensar así, decidir así, porque así te enseñaron, nunca vas a poder salir de ese círculo vicioso. Nunca vas a poder realmente tomar oportunidades que están esperando solamente que las tomes. So it's basically exposing ourselves to new opportunities, guys. Yo pude bajar tu libro completamente gratis. Muchas gracias. Sí, chicos, si tienen Kindle, está incluido en la membresía del Kindle de Amazon, así que lo van a poder leer completamente gratis. Tratar de controlar las cosas solamente hacen que lo que son bendiciones pues no se nos crucen. Jenny is full of spirit. Her smile is very nice. She loves sunbathing in a tropical paradise. Humans are equal no matter how diverse, one big family, one big universe. Oh, that's so cute. You're so good at spontaneous poems. Good for you, man. All right, my loves. We're going to continue on Monday. I do wish that you have an amazing weekend. Let's check out our members. If you can change your past, you would not be the person you are today. I think so too, James. Yeah. I do believe in life after death. I don't think that we come into life like the one we left behind because I was poor before, I will be poor again. If I was rich before, I will be rich again. No, I feel we may return in a different country, different race. If we come back to the same life we left behind, what would the challenge be then? Interesting. Atheists do not believe that there is a God who created and orders the universe. All this is a possibility. In that sense, I'm an atheist who is open to all the possibilities. I have no idea what will come after death. Surprise me. Dicen, yo soy ateo. Dice, y nosotros creemos de que simplemente pues no hay un Dios que creó o no creó. Sorry, I deleted the comment. I didn't mean to. Dice, solamente creemos de que no hay nadie que creó o no creó, pero estamos siempre abiertos a las posibilidades. Así que si nos reencarnamos, pues bienvenido sea. Muy bien, amigos, nos veremos el 7 sí, llegamos a la media hora, ¿no? Sí, Nos veremos el lunes, mis amores. Espero de que tengan un hermoso fin de semana. No se olviden de chequear mi libro. Está incluido en Kindle, es gratis, o lo pueden bajar en Kindle o también imprimir en papel. Para lo que es el español, no se olviden lo que les dije, sí está traducido con inteligencia artificial, pero bueno, lo quería lanzar porque sé que muchos, en realidad la mayoría de ustedes que han comprado están vendiéndose más en español que en inglés, lo cual me sorprende muchísimo. Pero bueno, gracias a los que han apoyado y chequenlo, ahí está el QR. All right, my loves, check out my book. Don't forget, don't miss it. It's free in Kindle, and you can also get it in paperback. We'll continue now with a positive energy seminar for our members in Sun Beach TV. Continuamos con un seminario en Sun Beach. Besitos. Bye, guys.
What if everything you've been told about your energy is wrong? Imagine waking up every day radiating unstoppable energy, free from negativity, chronic fatigue, or that inner block holding you back from true abundance. After 17 years of relentless research, a dedicated team of 27 nomadic meditators, one trusted doctor investigator, and a powerful energy healing couple uncovered the raw, unfiltered truth about how energy really works in your body. The result? Heal Yourself, the full guide to energy, the only guide you'll ever need to transform your life completely. From reprogramming your mind and releasing hidden mental blocks, to mastering energy manipulation, true self-healing, and awakening your sexual energy for profound activation and healing. This isn't theory, it's battle-tested wisdom drawn from real breakthroughs, perfect for singles, couples, young adults, and anyone ready to level up. Whether you're seeking vibrant health, unbreakable abundance, deeper intimacy, or spiritual awakening, this guide shows you exactly how to harness the invisible force inside you to heal yourself and never look back. Your body already knows how to heal. Your energy is waiting to be unleashed. Don't wait another day living at half power. Grab Heal Yourself today. The ultimate life-changing blueprint is here. Your energy is waiting to be unleashed. Don't wait another day living at half power. Grab Heal Yourself today. The ultimate life-changing blueprint is here. Get it now in Amazon.
Feel the pulse, feel the rush, here's a spark of life. Hearts in sync, levitate, we awaken the light. In a world that's moving fast, love is the sound. A symphony of colors turning darkness around. Every heartbeat echoes a rhythm so divine. Elevate our spirit.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having an amazing, I hope you had a good weekend to begin with. I hope that you spent it in quality time with those people that can make you generate some good vibes. Why not? So did you like the song from the opening? I'm so excited. Of course, AI gives you all these opportunities, right? So I said, we're going to make our own AI song only talking about positivity. And then I said, screw it, why don't we, make a whole channel out of it? So there's a new YouTube channel, if you want to follow it. It's going to have only positive affirmation music. It's called Positive Jams with a Z, all right? So make sure you look for it. And don't forget also that my book is out if you want to heal in the process, or maybe you have someone that, there's so many information in here about everything that maybe you have someone that you have to teach to. Thank you for those that have supported it. I'm actually pretty amazed at how it's selling. So I'm like, yeah, people actually are still reading. I honestly, I was nervous. I'm like, I don't think people read anymore. But yeah, thank you. It's very heartwarming and it means a lot. I know that it's going to be a little bit of a domino effect because there's so much stuff in there that you will never see anywhere else. And that's, I think, what makes it also exciting because it's kind of that kind of information where it's like, did you hear? And then so on and so forth. Especially about the whole subject of sexual energy. So anyway, it's in Kindle. The audiobook is a little bit delayed. I was going to launch it yesterday, and then I realized that the chapters were wrong. It was basically like separating it into two sections. So once the AI voice is ready, I will launch the audiobook, which in my opinion is the best. But you do have to kind of like, I think this is the kind of book that you would have to listen to twice, by the way, because there's some things that you're like, huh? Like, what? This is too much information. Slow down. And the voice that I was doing for the audiobook, it'll take 5 hours to finish the whole book. So not so bad, an hour a day. It's good. Anyway, join us. Welcome. We have some interesting news for today, but I'm sure if you're following my Twitter, you knew that. Because there's this whole alien phenomenon happening that we're going to discuss, because apparently it has some people worried. ¿Cómo estamos, amigos? Muy buenas noches. Espero de que estén muy bien. Bueno, ¿cómo estuvo su fin de semana? ¿Estuvo positivo? ¿Estuvo bien? Si les gustó la canción del principio, estoy lanzando, ya lancé un canal nuevo que se llama Positive Jams con Z y va a ser solo música positiva. Entonces, estamos en el primer playlist y va a ser pura música con afirmaciones positivas. Está en inglés, sin embargo, voy a lanzar eventualmente en español, pero dije, con la era del IA, o sea, tienen que haber más canales donde ya sabemos de que lo que decimos y lo que repetimos es lo que somos en realidad, ¿no? Porque nuestra mente es la que comanda. Entonces, qué mejor que estar escuchando música con mensajes positivos que te hagan repetir cosas que literalmente van a ir de a poquito reprogramando tu mente a ser más optimista. Entonces, ese es el propósito de ese canal. Lo pueden buscar en Twitter, lo pueden buscar en YouTube como Positive Jams. Así que bueno, hay unas noticias interesantes sobre alienígenas y la voy a tocar más que nada porque sé que muchos de ustedes me preguntan sobre los seres y si hay que tenerles miedo, si no, y aparentemente el gobierno de Reino Unido está a punto de lanzar una noticia, y los de Estados Unidos, que mucha gente la tiene un poquito en freeze, en momento de frisados, están congelados. All right, read this twice. The global financial system is preparing for aliens. Yeah, you would never think that we'd be alive reading something like this, right? This is not a meme, it's not a fringe blog. This is an actual newspaper article reporting that the Bank of England has been urged to prepare for financial collapse if aliens are officially confirmed. So you know how they've been doing since, I think, for the past couple of years, but specifically 2025, moving towards this year, was very much this classification of so many documents and things coming about that you say, well, is this on purpose? Like, are they slowly trying to see how people will react to the reality that we're not the only we're not the only intelligent species in the planet or in the universe? Wow, man, it must have really taken so many smart people to debunk that. Yes, believe it or not, there are still people out there that believe that they are the highest species in the universe, or universes. So that tells you a lot about, whoever still believes that. It's like, okay, maybe we aren't that smart after all. Helen McCaw, who analyzed systemic financial risk at the Bank of England until 2012, formally warned Governor Andrew Bailey about what she calls ontological shock. The moment the public realizes reality itself is not what we were told. Her warning is brutal. Aliens wouldn't cause the panic, she says. The announcement would cause the panic. The instant confirmation drops, trust collapses, markets spiral, banks face runs. payment systems freeze, supply chains break. Yeah, not to be, the bearer of bad news. And social order starts cracking before people even understand what she said. She predicts that panic-driven volatility, cascading bank failures, breakdowns in the payments, and unreset driven by fear and scarcity. One sentence from the government, one confirmation, financial chaos at machine speed. That is what they are saying. McCaw, a Cambridge graduate now working in wealth management, bases her warning on recent U.S. official statements and declassifications suggesting non-human intelligence behind UAPs. She says preparation is required, even if the probability is low, because the consequences would be historic and irreversible. We've been telling you specifically for the past 4 months to have some cash laying around, you guys. Well, maybe not laying around, but some cash around, just in case something like this did happen. It wasn't really focused towards aliens. It was focused more towards like an EMP or a large blackout, so you don't freak out and get involved with the whole chaos. So this could also be a possibility. I mean, just to think that the internet will go dark or that your city will go dark for a few nights, it just makes you think that it's probably better to be prepared. And if there's no systems, obviously, well, cash is going to be the only thing that works. If it's something that takes longer, then cash is not going to help anyone, and of course, you would need gold coins or silver coins. Which, if you're that into being prepared, that would also be a possibility. And it's better to have them in small coins so you can use them for payment. But this is talking like extreme. But we always say it's better to be prepared than to lament later, right? So if you have a little bit of extra laying around and you can give yourself that privilege, then by all means do it. If aliens are impossible, why is a major newspaper printing this? And why is the global financial system quietly preparing for the announcement? And somebody was asking me, Jenny, I don't trust this. How do we know if they're evil? How do we know if they're, if they're good or bad, right? The crazy thing is that she's talking about a psychological war, basically, which is, well, somebody telling you that the reality that they've been telling you for so long, because there's so many people that still believes 100% in their government and everything that they say. I'm not saying don't believe in them. I'm just saying you can't believe everything you're told. That maybe a confirmation like that will bring in this chaos, and I think that's why they haven't done it before. I don't know if it's been so much to just to not have people realize that we're not the only ones in the universe, but mainly because they're protecting a system, from collapsing. And one of the things that will make it collapse is, yes, of course, aliens are real, you guys. Of course, it won't affect any of us because we already know this. There's a group of us that have already established that situation and realized that, yes, especially there's so many people that have experienced this today, and because of the internet, thank God, there's every time more and more disclosure over these topics, and unless somebody's doing it just to call attention, which is very, very, very rare, because most people wouldn't want to call attention for others to call them crazy. So usually when people are talking about that they've had an abduction or they've been through something like that, it's because it's actually happened. At least I don't know anybody that likes to be called crazy except me. So, yeah. Anyway, so the question was, Jenny, how do we know if they're positive or negative, and what can we do to protect ourselves? Okay, let me just begin with this. From our perspective of our team of 30, and you guys know that when it comes to aliens, I will be very straight up because our team of meditators actually does kind of always have control of that situation. Believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like a movie where when there is risk of invasion, that's like what they do. Like they spend literally all day meditating to make sure that evil doesn't necessarily take over the planet. Crazy, but real. Yes, people live for this, by the way. There's plenty of people in the world that dedicate their lives to mastering energy and making sure that you're protected without you never knowing about what they're doing to keep you protected. So it's basically like, I guess you could call them light watchers, right? So there's been plenty of UFO invasions that have happened, and I think I've mentioned them when they were happening. They didn't last too long because there is enough positivity in the planet to make sure that it's always firm and they don't actually take over, believe it or not. But right now, like with these news, nothing's happening. I don't know, I guess another word of me explaining this would be it's not real. So if there is news that'll come out saying there's an alien invasion, you cannot fall to it. You can't fall into the masses of believing that that's true. There's been invasions of species of other dimensions to our planet for as long as I can remember and way before. So it's nothing new. Now, if there was an actual alien invasion to the sense where your life is at risk, you would notice, okay? You would see it, all right? But so far, there hasn't been any species allowed into this solar system to cause that kind of harm, up until today at least, that has succeeded enough to go mass scale. What does that mean? Basically, there's been species here that have done harm and have abducted and done experiments, and they're still doing it. But you're not really going to hear about it. It's not going to be like the movies, right, where you look up and all of a sudden there's millions of aircraft, UFOs. Not that that's not going to happen eventually, but I highly doubt that it's going to happen in a negative way. So my recommendation, so you can stay calm, first, I will let you know if it gets serious. Two, if they come out and start saying that there is an invasion, people are going to panic. So that's why it's so important to always have a backup plan in the sense of maybe you have a place that's a little bit farther from cities. Maybe you can have a little bit of extra cash around or some silver, or because you don't really know how this is going to affect. Yes, people will go crazy, and that's the percentage of people that it's not us, right? So, but that is the percentage of people that you start to you have to start protecting yourself from, basically, because there's still plenty of people in the world that will take that news as shock, and that's what would basically make the market drop. So. The most important thing is that you don't panic, okay? There is Project Bluebeam, which if you haven't heard of it, go ahead and research it. We've talked about this a lot. It's kind of like a last plot for a specific group to take control. That is real. These machines exist where you can, kind of like the Spider-Man movie, where you can be seeing an alien invasion and it's fake. Okay, it's a hologram. So the only way that you can know if something is positive or negative is very simple. You can't possibly trust your instinct if you're in chaos. So, and this goes for generically, not only in alien invasion, okay? But if everybody's running, if everybody's going crazy, all right, you need to be the one to have your head right, on your shoulders, to be relaxed. You need to be in your tune. You need to really trust your instinct, but you can trust your instinct if you have that calm. If you don't have that calm and you're screaming and yelling and you're allowing other people's chaotic adrenaline rushes affect you, you're going to also react the same way. So the most important thing is really just to be calm. And you will know if something is out to harm you or if something is, don't be blinded by what you see. Pay attention to what you feel. When there's a species that is negative, you will feel fear. But there's specific fear that is provoked by entities and that is something real. And then there's another kind of specific fear, which is the one that you generate in your own mind that shouldn't exist. So what I'm trying to say is if there's a hologram and it's being created, don't be freaked out just because you're seeing something. Actually debate what you're seeing, because your eyes might be deceiving you, and focus on how you feel, okay? Because that's the only thing that would really allow you to notice the difference. If it's fake, if it's real, or if they're bad, or if they're good. If it's good species, well, first of all, good species don't invade, so that wouldn't be the situation. But if there were good species here to give us good information, you will feel peace, believe it or not. Yeah, you might be shocked by what you see because maybe it's the first time that you'll see, an alien, right? Because it's so normal for others of us. And you're going to be in shock, but after the shock, you'll feel like everything's going to be okay. All right? That is why it's so important. And that's, I think, why we talk so much about positivity and keeping cool and really knowing what it feels like to be calm. And if you don't know what you're like calm, then that's a problem. You need to start practicing and noticing what triggers you, what doesn't, what you can think about that can keep you in those zones of alignment, because that's really what we are. If our energy is aligned, if our energy is at peace, it should not be, like all over the place in the sense where it's non-harmonial. All right, so if your energy is in harmony, you will be in a perfect perception to be able to tell if what's around you is real, is fake, is evil, or is good. You don't have to take somebody's word for it. You don't have to believe in somebody that's telling you because these aliens are evil, or because these aliens, maybe there's nothing there. Maybe it's Project Bluebeam. So, most importantly, don't fall into the news, especially the news, okay? If there's news that will come out, invasions have happened all the time. So you probably have never heard of it because you've never met someone that's been through a situation with strange dimension creatures. But there's even videos of people being abducted, literally, like they're at an airport and all of a sudden they just disappear. So this has been happening, and every time it's happening more because of 3i Atlas. But like I said, some people are just not really meant to be in this planet for what's coming. What's coming after the storm will be beautiful, and only the ones vibrating high and actually looking for progress in the world will be here. So don't worry about it. Take precautions. That's it. That's the only thing. Precautions, because, well, humans are the ones that make it worse in the end, right? Muy bien, entonces la noticia de hoy dice, está en inglés, a ver si la puedo traducir rápido. A ver, la alarma que salió en las noticias en el Reino Unido en un periódico real. Hay una señora que se llama Mako. A ver, ¿dónde está el nombre? Dice Helen McCaw, dice, ella fue una analítica financiera para el Banco de Inglaterra hasta el 2012. Entonces, según ella, los bancos se están preparando para lo que es el anuncio de que existe una invasión alienígena. Entonces, ustedes me preguntaban, Jenny, ¿tú qué sabes de estas cosas? ¿Es verdad, no es verdad? ¿Qué tenemos que hacer? ¿Cómo sabemos si son buenos, si son malos? Bueno, para empezar, no existen invasiones buenas. Puede haber un avistamiento masivo pero no van a invadir. Lo que sea invasión obviamente es malo. Pero lo más curioso de todo es que en el artículo ella se enfoca muchísimo en lo que es la psicología. Entonces dice, el problema no es que haya una invasión alienígena, el problema es que la gente no está preparada. Entonces, cuando escuche verbalmente saliendo de un gobierno que hay una invasión alienígena, la gente se va a volver loca. Por eso también no lo han hecho hasta el día de hoy. O sea, como que de a poquito te van a ir lanzando cosas. Y yo les puedo decir de que invasión alienígena ha habido por... que yo creo que nunca se frenó la abducción de personas y ese tipo de cosas, y invasión de negatividad. O sea, cuando decimos invasión alienígena, fíjense que puede ser cualquier cosa. Puede ser, no estamos hablando de solo que te abdujan, o sea, puede ser ciertos, criaturas o parásitos de otro planeta, que literalmente los parásitos son como unos alienígenas, donde controlan tu mente, te hacen consumir y hacer ciertas cosas para poder contagiar a más gente. Entonces, hay mucha respuesta cuando decís que es un alien, pues hay muchas cosas que son alienígenas y han existido siempre. Entonces, no entren en caos. Lo peor, y eso es algo que ella dice mucho, es el caos que va a entrar la gente porque simplemente no saben cómo reaccionar. Entonces dice, se va a caer el sistema financiero, se va a caer el sistema de comida, se va a caer absolutamente todo, dice, por la pura psicología del pánico, del qué pasará y la incertidumbre. Entonces, bueno, lo están anunciando y qué raro, porque oficialmente de esta forma, en 2025, de a poquito nos han tirado cada vez más información de desclasificados sobre el tema alienígena y nunca nada realmente claro. Es como que sí sabemos que tres y Atlas, pues ya se ha dicho y se sabe que es alienígena. Ustedes me preguntaban a mí, yo les expliqué de que sí eran hostiles. Sin embargo, aparentemente lo que estaban haciendo y lo que siguen haciendo es llevándose a personas que no deberían seguir acá, como una limpieza energética. Entonces, podría quizás la intención haber sido otra, sin embargo, hoy por hoy, en este momento, esa es la situación. Pueden buscar en internet y hay videos donde en un aeropuerto, por ejemplo, y la persona de repente desaparece, dices, ¿dónde se fue? O sea, y no son videos de inteligencia artificial, son videos reales de cámaras de seguridad. Te das cuenta cuando hay falsos y cuando son reales, cómo reacciona la gente alrededor. Pero abducciones han habido siempre, chicos. Abducciones de animales, abducciones o sea, de humanos, obviamente, experimentos. Y no es nada nuevo. Entonces, que salgan de un gobierno a decir, siempre, siempre, siempre tengan el beneficio de la duda, que salgan a decir de que hay una invasión. Primero tendrías que ver, no sé, un montón de tropas y algo sucediendo antes de que realmente haya un anuncio como esos. Y hasta el día de hoy no ha habido ninguna especie que haya realmente llegado acá y haya logrado llegar a un plan masivo de invasión, como lo que sería una invasión. Y esto se los digo porque el grupo nuestro de meditadores, de hecho, que se dedican todo el día a meditar, ya lo saben. Una de las cosas que siempre están chequeando es el tema de los seres de otro planeta, que sí hay, si no, siempre hay, ¿no? Y hay muchísimos, pero los que vienen con intenciones de invadir ya como que masivamente, ¿no? Y hoy por hoy les puedo decir de que está todo tranquilo, así que si sale alguna noticia es mentira. Del pánico, pues no tiene sentido que se paniqueen, pero a la pregunta que me decían de que ¿cómo sabemos si son buenos o malos? Es muy fácil. Si tú no te permites entrar en la marea de pánico de todas las demás personas alrededor o del popular, podríamos decir, pues vas a poder percibir tranquilamente porque tu instinto nunca te falla. Entonces, si tú estás calmado, vas a poder sentir si algo realmente es un peligro o si algo es positivo o si algo es de mentira. O sea, porque tú puedes crear miedo y eso lo creas con tu mente, es psicológico. O sea, es como los actores, ¿no? De repente, si quieres tener miedo, imaginarte que al frente hay un monstruo, pues te va a dar miedo. Entonces, ¿qué pasa si tú de repente anuncian esto y ya está el plan del proyecto Bluebeam? Donde sabemos de que hay una máquina que existe que puede crear hologramas, ya te lo mostraron en la película de Spider-Man, donde pueden crear una invasión alienígena de mentira para poder entonces aplicar nuevos sistemas de leyes, de protección, de todo, ¿no? O sea, de control, podríamos decir. Entonces, eso también te puedes dar cuenta, o sea, si no entres en pánico a correr como todo el mundo, decir, bueno, a ver, ¿cómo sé si realmente vamos a ver si es de mentira? Y eso lo sentís. Cuando hay seres buenos, de por sí sientes adentro de que todo va a estar bien. Si son reales, si realmente se te llegara a presentar un ser enfrente y su propósito es matarte, literal, el miedo que vas a sentir no te lo puedo describir porque es algo muy nato, es algo muy como del momento, no lo puedes crear. Pero bueno, eso es, eso es. Así que no se preocupen. Lo que sí les puedo decir es que no vendría mal si toman precauciones, ¿ok? Y pues tienen un poco de dinero extra guardado, que sea en efectivo, porque si si en dadas formas sí se ocasionase un apagón o falta de comunicaciones, ¿no? El internet, que eso hace que fallen los bancos y todo eso, pues necesitas tener algo para poder moverte. Siempre decimos es mejor estar preparado, ¿no? Y por supuesto también el tema de las monedas de plata y las monedas de oro, si puedes y tienes esos medios como para conseguirte algunas y tenerlas por ahí en dado caso de que suceda algo así. Ya hablando del extremo de tener cuidado, ¿no? Pero como siempre decimos, es mejor estar preparados. Muy bien, amigos. Déjenme cambiar de canal. Ya voy, ya voy. Y parece que se cortó en YouTube o seguimos. No me dicen acá. A ver si los veo y abro el chat. All right, guys. So, yeah. So don't freak out. Relax. Let me open the. Let me open our video, guys. Give me a second because I think our stream just cut in YouTube. So if I can open it, I can read you. A ver, dame un segundito. I think we did cut. Okay, well, that's that. No, there we are.
For fake muscles, sometimes simple wins.
Oh, what is it with these commercials and AI? It's like, you can tell. Hey, Jenny, do you think that the cycle of reincarnation ever truly ends, or do we just graduate from Earth School? If we do, is that the ending of learning, or is there a higher level school waiting for us? No, there's a higher level waiting for us. So even like your guardian angel, you know, we all have guardian angels. Mine retired when I turned 21, believe it or not. And it told me, it's like, okay, this is as far as I had to bring you. Now it advanced to a next level, where whatever that might be. So yeah, everything in the universe is energy. So I was thinking yesterday too, and you can see it. Like I was looking at my dogs, and I'm like, it's so crazy how you can tell how some dogs have an old soul. And then there's dogs that are like very new, like no matter how much you talk to them, they don't understand you. And then there's other dogs that you talk to them and it's like, are you human? You know, like, wow, how did you do that? So it's a curious thought that in a possibility, why not? Do you think that maybe we start as animals and then advance our way through, I don't know, like a stronger energy, a wiser energy, and so on? That I'm not 100% sure of. But what I do know is that if you've learned everything you had to learn in this planet, it's very rare that you'll come back to it unless you have a mission of helping or of teaching others. If that's not the case, you can move forward. There are planets out there that you don't necessarily have to be battling so much with negativity, where life is a lot more simpler and happier and just full of peace and love. And maybe you don't reincarnate at all and you decide you just want to stay in the ether and hang out, where time isn't a thing. That is super weird. Like the feeling of time when it comes to energy, like when you leave your body, if you've ever done anything like that, I do it all the time. So it's insane. Like you could literally live like a whole lifetime in another life. And in this physical aspect, it might be like 15 minutes. And you're like, how did we do that? Like, what just happened? It's like, I was just born and lived and died. And you're back here and it's like 15 minutes have gone by. And I'm like, huh. So these things happen. There's also that debatable comment of, are we existing in different dimensions at the same time? Is there another version of ourselves in another, in another dimension that maybe wakes up when we go to sleep on this dimension? That I'm not sure yet. But Inception definitely gets you, that movie gets you to think. So yes, for sure, I can tell you that yes, you have the option of going somewhere else, of going to another planet. But I don't know, have you learned everything you needed to? Like, and this is the only way you can know this is, first of all, you can't be any more humble. Like that is one of the main things that, I guess in a way it's like, it calls attention, which is like, how humble can you get, right? And that is the number one thing. When your soul and your spirit and yourself, you get to that stage of being so humble that your energy's too good to be in this planet, then you're ascending. You're not coming back. I know a family member that he's not coming back. I know that for sure. And even when he passed away, like I would communicate with him several times. And this is somebody that had diabetes, like stage, like very, very strong diabetes. So I don't know how many stages are in diabetes, but anyway, so he passed away from that eventually, but his whole life was basically like being treated and suffering and this, and you couldn't meet a more humble person, never complained and never nothing. So when you get to that level of humbleness where you're basically just existing to be love, and everything around you is love, and you, I guess in a way, kind of take life as it is and make the best of it with what you have, then there's really nothing else you have to learn, you know? Like, you're not materialistic, you're not selfish, there is nothing but love inside of you, and that's it. Why would you come back? You know, unless it's to teach, right? So from there, yeah, maybe you could be an angel. Maybe you could be somebody else's guardian angel, you know? Or maybe you could just go to another planet where that exists, by the way, that it's almost sort of like our planet. ¿Cómo están? Jenny, wonderful to see you. 70 degrees in Tulum on your TV background. It's super cold here. Does it say? Oh yeah, it's that 70. It's chilly, but it's nice. Hello, UK. We have a debate. Okay, so many newspapers don't even print them anymore. I know. We can't be the only ones out here, but I would like to know for sure, 100%. Okay, so are you waiting on a government to like tell you for sure? Like, do we take our word for it that they do exist? Why didn't they just tell us before? Dice, pues no podemos ser los únicos que existimos, pero sí me gustaría escucharlo oficialmente. Esa es otra cosa. O sea, realmente necesitamos esperar a los gobiernos para decir, entonces si el gobierno lo dice es porque es verdad. Ya llegamos a ese punto, ¿no? Me preguntaban si... dicen, Jenny, ¿tú crees de que cuando uno ya aprende todo lo que tiene que aprender, se gradúa de esta escuela de la Tierra o vamos a otro lado y seguimos aprendiendo? Dice, ¿o crees de que hay otro nivel más arriba de la Tierra? Sí, absolutamente. La Tierra es un nivel y te digo de que cuando llegas a un punto donde realmente elevas tu energía tanto, y una de las número uno sobre ese tema es la humildad. O sea, cuando llegas a cierto punto de humildad tan grande de que simplemente nada te molesta, eres puro amor hasta con las personas negativas, o sea, todo lo que te rodea es positividad, todo lo que emanas es positividad, pues ya te supergraduaste. Entonces, es muy raro que regreses a este planeta si no es para enseñar. Entonces ahí es donde tienes las almas, y muchas no son almas, que deciden pues venir aquí para poder dar mensajes, para enseñar, para poder ayudar a que otras personas eleven su vibración. Pero de lo contrario hay otros planetas que tienes cuerpo, otros que no tienes cuerpo, hay otros niveles energéticos de dimensiones también, y es muy interesante porque, por ejemplo, yo tuve mi ángel de la guardia, lo tuve hasta los 21 años más o menos, y les digo de que se despidió y todo. Fue como que, bueno, hasta aquí llegamos, qué difícil que me la pusiste y chao, que te vaya bien. No, o sea, básicamente es como que su tarea era hacerme llegar a un punto. Una vez que yo llegase a ese punto y ya empecé mi trabajo con la energía, ya me conecté como que directamente a la energía, entonces ya no era como, su trabajo era llevarme a esta línea de vida. Y como cumplió su misión, pues como que lo avanzaron a hacer otra cosa, que en ese caso no sé qué sería, pero ante las personas energéticas, así como las almas y los ángeles, también existen jerarquías. Entonces tú puedes ser, y eso me puso a pensar ayer, ¿qué opinan ustedes? ¿Creen de que en algún momento quizás fuimos animales? ¿No? Porque tú ves a los perros y también existen perros que te entienden y dices, eres muy humano, y también hay perros que les hablas y es como si hablaras literalmente con un bebé, o sea, no te entienden nada. Entonces, puede ser, yo creo que es posible, así como los humanos, que también los animales tengan su energía y vibren y van avanzando pues en vibración hasta que, quién sabe, capaz que los terminan siendo un alma. O sea, es muy posible que todo empiece en una chispita y de ahí evolucione, evolucione, evolucione hasta pues ser un alma en esa tierra o en otra tierra o ser un ángel o ser, pues sí, todo es posible, chicos. Everything is possible, you know? If humility is one major life exam, how do we pass the other, especially the test of not staying silent against injustice or choosing luxury while others starve? Not staying silent against injustice. Well, I think you could still do that. There's nothing wrong with, you know, you should do that. But if you do stay silent, at the same time, it's not your fault. I mean, I think that you'd make your choices, and I wouldn't say that that's a mistake if you stay silent for your own protection or because something bad was going to happen to you, so you decided not to get involved. It might be seen as a cowardly, but I feel like there's people for everything. Like some people have it in their life to go through specific situations, right? Because that's like their mission. That's like it's their purpose to do that in their life. So it's almost like protesting, or not protesting, sorry, but some protests, or people that do good by helping abandoned animals, right, and opening up shelters. So somebody's always going to do it, and it's their mission to do that. So you have to also let others and not be so strict in yourself that you have to do everything. So yeah, whatever you can will always, be good. What about choosing luxury while others starve? Well, it's the same thing. Is it your fault that they're starving? So you can't take the world's responsibility in your shoulders because it's not your fault and it's not your responsibility. So if it really comes within you to do something about it, and you decide to be one of those, to like today, and it's so beautiful how there's people using social media to give money to the poor, or helping people build their businesses or homes or this and that, so it's great that there's that positivity in influencing today and other generations that are changing that. But like I said, you have to kind of just do it at your own time, and do what really moves you, do what makes you happy and makes a difference in your energy. But other than that, if it's not your fault, don't freak out about it. Don't feel, you can't be that guilty person of like, I'm not going to eat today because there's people not eating in the planet. Okay, so you're basically choosing to die because there's others that don't have the benefit that you have, but then you have to ask yourself, why do you have that benefit? Why do you have food in your plate? Why do you have the things that you have? You have to be appreciative. That is your best way of really taking advantage of that positivity, is being appreciative of it. Don't waste things because you know that there's people in the world that don't have what you have, but there's a reason why you have it and they don't. So everything is energy, you guys. If you are born in a place of hunger, your energy is meant to be there. There's a reason why you're living in that city. There's a reason why you're living with that family. There's a lot of times, and it's not that it's not your fault. There's a reason for it. Okay, so there's souls. We're not born limited. We're all born with the same opportunity of energetical opportunity to really do something with our lives. This is when you see places of poverty and there's a really famous singer that came out of there and you're like, wow, well, what a lucky person. It's not luck. This is perseverance. This is actually looking out and having, enough energy in your life to actually make the bold choice to go out of the box, right, and do something different. And oh well, look at that. You built your future and you were able to get out of the ghetto, for example. And I think like the answer of people is always going to be like, oh well, it's so hard. It's like, oh fine, it's hard, but that's not going to get you anywhere, So you're gonna have to work twice as hard to be able to reach success. But there's a reason why you're there. There's a reason, why you were born specifically there. And another thing is that you chose it. We choose our family before we come here. We choose to live in specific situations. So it's just a matter of what are you going to do with it? How large is your mission of life to make that life a successful one, where the next time you come back, maybe you don't need to. Or maybe the next time you'll be born in a place where things will be so much easier for you. I look at people I always use Messi as an example because he's someone that has, fame, which honestly, I don't know why anybody would want fame. I don't want it. I think it's a pain in the ass. Wealth and love, right? So it's really difficult to see people actually having all of those. And when you see someone that gets to so much level of success, you say, well, that's a soul that really deserved to be that flying example for others to follow, like that beacon of light, that beacon of a good person to be following with good roots, good examples so far, right? And that's also something to take into note. We are born already with our life basically written for us. So it's just a matter of, well, which one are you going to take? And everything is choices and decisions. So don't feel bad for what you might have. Don't feel bad for the fulfillment that you have around you. On the contrary, feel blessed and wish it upon everybody that deserves it, because it is something that you as your own energy deserves, okay? Everybody else, well, they will eventually get to that energy vibration, to attract those things. But there's, of course, a lot of unfairness in this planet. But unfortunately, that is also because there's darkness still around in the planet. And that is making sure that places that have a lot of positive energy never really come out to light. But all that is going to change eventually. So don't worry. Just patience. All right, my loves. We will continue tomorrow. Nunca les dé miedo. Me dicen que me vaya. I believe in making your own luck. So if you can imagine yourself and others happy, then do it. When we're all capable of making a difference. Todos tenemos la posibilidad de hacer una diferencia, absolutamente. Dice Jenny, pues cómo no sentirte mal cuando hay tanta injusticia en el mundo, o sea, cómo no sentirse mal de tener cosas lujosas o estar comiendo ciertas cosas cuando hay personas en el mundo que no comen que no tienen comida. No puedes vivir así, no puedes vivir con ese pensamiento de no hago esto porque hay otros que no lo tienen. Al contrario, sea agradecido por lo que tienes. Esa es la forma de ver esas situaciones. Porque todas las energías tienen un propósito. O sea, tú ya naces en el lugar que necesitas nacer para poder aprender lo que necesitas aprender. Entonces puede ser una situación de pobreza, pero tu alma es igual de energética y fuerte y brillante y pura que la de otra persona que nace en un lugar de riqueza. Ok, entonces al fin del cabo, pues es tu decisión eventualmente cuando llegues después de la pubertad, es tu decisión en hacer algo bueno con tu vida. O sea, todos son decisiones. Existen los que no hacen nada y son vagos y siempre la excusa va a estar de que no, porque la vida es difícil y que yo no tuve esas oportunidades, pero eso no son excusas para personas que han sido muy exitosos y vienen de la nada. Entonces, yo creo de que así como traemos el karma energético de otras vidas pasadas, personas que por ahí están vibrando muy alto y ya pues se merecen todo, probablemente también nacen en situaciones donde puedan hacer influencias a otras personas para llevarlas hacia un camino de positividad. Pero bueno, son pensamientos, no necesariamente tiene que ser así. Pero no se sientan mal, al contrario, sean agradecidos. Que el agradecimiento y el ser... decir gracias todos los días es muy importante. Y eventualmente, pues, mandar energía también, por supuesto. Si te sobra, pues, haz lo que tú quieras para poder ayudar a los demás de tu forma, pero no te sientas culpable y no te pongas el peso del mundo en los hombros porque nada bueno vas a sacar de eso, al contrario. Bueno, chicos, nos vemos mañana a la misma hora. No se olviden de que estamos en vivo lunes a viernes a las 7 de la noche por ahora, al menos hasta fin de mes. All right, my loves, we'll see you tomorrow. Have an amazing evening. Stay positive. Don't forget, our book is out, so you can go ahead and get it in Kindle or Amazon as a paperback. It is called Heal Yourself. All right, see you tomorrow. We'll continue now with a positive energy seminar for our members. Continuamos para nuestros miembros en sunbeachtv.com. Kisses. Good night.
Feel the pulse, feel the rush, here's a spark of life. Hearts in sync, levitate, we awake in the light.